Good afternoon, everybody. It's Lorraine Alternative Homesteading on March 10, 2025. It actually feels earlier than it is. It's 5 o'clock p.m. But I asked ChatGPT about how secret societies use feces and bodily fluids and stuff. And, it's just so disgusting. And so I'm going to read what ChatGPT said. So before I get into this disgusting topic, please hit the thumbs up. It helps the channel grow, get the message out there. But I have actually heard other people speak on this topic as a targeted person. And remember, the people that are involved in harassing us are also involved in secret societies, the Freemasons, witches, and all kinds of other ridiculous things, sort of like the hillbilly mafia, right? Who would ever thought? Anyway, I grew up with a different kind of mafia. They actually had some morals and values, and they didn't stoop to these lowly activities. Anyway, cults and extreme groups sometimes use feces and other bodily substances in rituals for a variety of reasons, often tied to psychological control, symbolism, or spiritual beliefs. So here are some possible explanations. 1. They like to break social taboos. Many cults seek to break members away from societal norms. They like to force them to engage in activities considered disgusting or degrading, like handling feces. They can weaken personal boundaries and increase dependency on the group. And if you've heard the testimony about a lot of these young people against the cult members, they talk about having to eat some of these disgusting things, being forced to eat it. Then there's a ritualistic purification or humiliation. Some groups may use feces in rituals or purification, believing, of course this is a misguided belief, that engaging with filth allows one to transcend worldly attachments. Others use it for humiliation and control, breaking down an individual's personal dignity to reinforce submission to the leader. Well, I'm sorry, losers. I'm not going to submit to whomever the leader is. Because obviously, if you have to stoop so low to use poop, you are no leader. Number 3, occult or esoteric symbolism. In certain esoteric traditions, bodily waste represents the shadow self, impurities, or the rejection of materialism. Some extreme alchemical or tantric sects believe that engaging with excrements can lead to spiritual transcendence or power. Well, be my guest, perps. Go bathe in your excrement and your poop, but please leave it off my property. Number 4, psychological conditioning and mind control. Making members engage in disgusting acts can reinforce obedience and loyalty by testing how far they will go for the group. It can also create a sense of shared experience and secrecy, further isolating members from outsiders. Number 5, mocking or reversing religious practices. Some cults deliberately invert religious or spiritual traditions by defiling sacred symbols. For example, using feces instead of a holy substance. And in extreme cases, this can be part of a demonic or anti-religious ideology meant to invoke chaos or rebellion against mainstream beliefs. Now, historically and in modern examples, some ancient cults engaged in scatological rituals are part of fertility rites. In modern times, some extremist groups or psychological experiments have used similar tactics to break people down mentally. So now ChatGPT asked me, would you like to explore specific cases or related topics? I said yes. So here we go. There have been several historical and modern instances where cults, secret societies, or extreme groups have incorporated feces or other bodily waste into their rituals. So here are a few notable cases, and I'll just give you one about them smearing feces on my glass front door here and on my refrigerator handle just a few weeks ago. Number one, the Aghori sect in India. The Aghori are an extreme sect in Hindu aesthetics who reject conventional taboos, including those surrounding death and impurity. Some members are known to smear ashes from cremated bodies on themselves and even consume human flesh in rare cases. They believe engaging with filth, including feces, helps them transcend worldly attachments and reach spiritual enlightenment. Their practices are rooted in a form of tantra that embraces that what is typically considered impure. Then, if you remember, the Jim Jones and the People's Temple in the 1970s. Jim Jones, the leader of the People's Temple, used humiliation tactics. This included forcing members to endure extreme conditions. Some reports suggest that members were forced to sit in soiled clothing for a form of punishment and control. His cult eventually led to the infamous Jonestown Massacre in 1978. Then we've got the Charles Manson family in the 60s and 70s. The Manson family lived in squalid conditions and reportedly had little concern for hygiene. They embraced a primal existence with accounts of using bodily fluids in their bizarre rituals. Manson used filth and degradation as a way to break down members' egos and increase their loyalty. Then in the 70s and 80s in Canada, there were the Ant Hill Kids. Led by Roche Thuralt, this cult was notorious for extreme abuse. Members were sometimes forced to eat feces, there you go, or endure degrading punishments. Thuralt exerted absolute control over his followers, using humiliation as a tool to maintain dominance. Then we have to remember that there's the satanic and occult-inspired groups. Some dark occult or black magic groups have been reported to use feces or urine in rituals to desecrate religious symbols or reverse traditional blessings. And in some cases, this is done to invoke chaotic energies or demonstrate rejection of mainstream spiritual beliefs. Then there's the, I'm not sure how to pronounce this. It's NXIVM, Nixivim cult in the 2000s. While not directly involving feces, this cult, led by Keith Raniere, used psychological degradation and branding of women. You hear that? Branding of women. Some testimonies describe members being subjected to humiliation-based conditioning, similar to tactics seen in other abusive cults. So why did they do it? Dehumanization, breaking members down to make them more controllable. Symbolism. It represents rejection of purity, religious norms, or societal structures. Mind control. It forces individuals to obey without question, no matter how degrading the demand. Mystical beliefs. Some groups genuinely believe engaging with filth brings enlightenment or supernatural power. So ChatGPT says, would you like to explore more cases, or are you interested in how people escape and recover from these groups? So I said, I would like to hear more about how people recover and escape these groups. Escaping and recovering from a cult, especially one that uses extreme methods like humiliation and degradation, can be incredibly difficult. Cult leaders use manipulation, fear, isolation, and psychological conditioning to keep members trapped. However, many people do escape and go on to expose the truth. So how do people escape these cults? Escape is rarely simple. So here are some common ways that people manage to get out. One, they'll have a mental awakening, cracks in their belief system. Many cult members start questioning things when they see contradictions in the leader's teachings or promises. If they witness abuse, financial corruption, or hypocrisy, that may trigger doubts. Exposure to the outside perspectives, like news reports, conversations with other members, they can plant seeds of skepticism. 2, help from family and friends. Loved ones play a big role by staying in contact and offering emotional support instead of attacking the cult directly. Interventions or deprogramming efforts sometimes work, but cult members often resist outside help at first. Escape and hiding. Some people physically escape, often leaving in the middle of the night to avoid retaliation. They may seek help from ex-members, cult recovery groups, or law enforcement. Law enforcement and legal actions. If there is physical abuse, financial fraud, or illegal activities, authorities can sometimes intervene. Testimonies from ex-members are crucial, but it's often hard to get evidence because cults operate in secrecy. And recovery after escaping. Once somebody leaves, the real challenge is undoing the psychological damage and rebuilding a normal life. You can have therapy and deprogramming. Other specialized therapists that help former cult members break free from brainwashing. They often experience post-traumatic stress disorder, guilt, paranoia, and extreme self-doubt. Some need intensive counseling to regain their sense of identity. Support groups and ex-cult networks. These organizations like International Cultic Studies Association and ex-members groups help survivors connect. Talking to others who have escaped helps rebuild trust in reality. And there are several such people who provide testimonies on YouTube, like Jesse, I'm forgetting her last name, Kapotar, and oh my goodness, it's just escaping me now. Okay, I'll come back to it. Public exposure and speaking out. Many survivors write books, do interviews, or work with journalists to expose their former cults. Social media has become a powerful tool for raising awareness and warning others. Some documentaries and podcasts have successfully taken down cult leaders. The NXIVM, or whatever that is, NXIVM downfall was largely due to survivors speaking out. How to make the public believe and expose cults. One of the biggest challenges to getting people to believe survivors, cults often seem so extreme to be real. Here's how exposure works. Gathering and sharing evidence. Leaked audio, videos, text, or financial documents can prove cult practices. Witness testimonies from multiple former members make the story more credible. Journalists and legal investigations, sometimes reporters and documentarians like those who expose Scientology, play a key role. Lawsuits and criminal cases put cults under public scrutiny. Then there are documentaries and social media campaigns. Netflix, HBO, and YouTube have successfully exposed cults with in-depth documentaries. There's the film Eyes Wide Shut with Nicole Kidman, and when she was married to Tom Cruise. They were actually spouses in the film and spouses off film. Survivors who tell their stories on social media help reach a wider audience and pressure law enforcement to take action. Connecting to larger patterns. Showing how a cult's methods mirror past known cults like mind control, abuse, like COINTELPRO, MKUltra, makes it easier for the public to recognize the danger. Some groups hide under self-help, quote-unquote, or spirituality. So exposing patterns helps people spot the red flags. So this video was about cults and extreme groups that use feces, bodily substances in rituals, and the reasons why they do, you know, for humiliation, symbolism, psychological conditioning, and mind control, etc. Plus, I think, you know, the more emotionally depraved use it for laughs and giggles, right? It's a psychological operation. You know, if the fusion center operatives are using it, that would certainly be a psychological operation. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed learning about poopy perps and secret cults and how they use feces in rituals. So I hope everybody's doing well. And I will talk to you guys later.